Mr. Christopher Hardesty. How are you doing today, my friend?
Fantastic. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks for asking. And I really appreciate you allocating some time here to hop on and do a quick little client interview with me. If you don't mind, first kind of introduce yourself, who you are, where you're at, and what you do. I think that would be a good baseline for the conversation.
Sure, my pleasure. My name is Christopher Hardesty. I'm an associate broker in Dutchess County, New York, which is about 90 minutes, 45 miles north of New York City. And my grandfather started our company in 1965. So I was fortunate enough that he saw the vision to see real estate and make that transition because it's a great location. I mean, it's a fantastic trip down to the city. A lot of people are migrating this way, all throughout, since 1965, and even more so, during COVID. And, we're becoming a nice small town, nice small city, and it's growing rapidly. So we've done very well. And in recent years, my mother took over as a broker. I'm kind of a backup broker. My brother and I have umbrellaed our services to kind of expand to do a lot more than, I guess most people would say, just real estate, just sales. We've built a business where we not only do sales, but we do property management, we do rentals, we do new construction, we do renovations, we do rehab, repairs. So really anything that encompasses real estate or real estate needs, we've been able to serve the community. So it really has benefited a lot of our clients because, people that are coming up, we can help them design homes, we can help them make, additions or changes to the homes or customize them, and we can keep that all in-house. We're very trusted, we're private, and we like really having that aspect of the business.
Yeah, man, you guys are awesome. One-stop shop for anything a homeowner would need, which is just awesome. And I guess kind of going back to the beginning of our relationship, if you had to think about it, I know it's been a little bit of time since then, but how would you describe the onboarding process kind of when you first started working with our firm, Chris?
Well, I mean, it's I guess you could say it's entertaining. Whenever anyone asks me how my day is going, I always say it's entertaining because it is. And the way I got started was simply this: I was a product of the service. At first, I'm sure you remember, Adam. I don't even remember when we first talked. I don't remember how you got my information, but I know I was dodging you, and I was saying next week, next month, and I kept getting pinged, and I kept getting reminded, and I kept getting the emails, and I'm like, this guy's relentless, in a good way, because it wasn't overwhelming, but it was to a fact, like, it kind of, triggered my mind to say, yep, he's still here. Yep, he's still interested. Yep, he might have something to solve my problem. And, it was, and he didn't push me to do something when I wasn't ready, because at the time I wasn't ready. And, you're very sincere in the sense that, it's like, when you're ready, let's talk, when you're ready, let's talk more. And you just kept dripping on me. And I was like, I was impressed by that because I'm not a pushy salesperson. If you ever met me, if you ever see me and you ever do business with me, I kind of have an I don't care mentality. And it really draws people closer to me because I trust me, I do want the business, but I don't want the business if you don't want the business, and I'm not going to force it.
100%.
And that's the kind of relationship that I look for. And that's how I felt during the onboard process, if that makes sense. And that's why as soon as we started the relationship, I was very committed, and I wanted to make this a very long-term relationship.
Yeah, love that about you. And I mean, going from month to month, upgrading within a month to the full year, that meant a lot to us. And obviously we appreciate your business. We feel the exact same way. We want to work with people that want to work with us, right? I guess, dovetailing a bit further out of the onboarding process and, kind of the way the team supported you through that. Can you share a moment where maybe you felt we really supported your needs when adding a CRM when you guys never had that, or, some of the other services that we tied in? Can you remember any of what maybe was going through your mind back then?
Sure. Yeah. I'm going to backtrack just one step, and then I'll go two steps ahead into that. One was, making that commitment going into the, committing to the process and committing to, I guess, let's be real, the full year, with the program is, I really wanted to not dabble in this because, what a lot of people do is they look for a way out rather than look for a way to make it work. And that's the mindset that I was in, was because it was uncomfortable for me to dish out, what I had to dish out. And don't get me wrong, I think it should be double or triple what you're offering. And it's a program that I feel like a lot of franchise companies should be involved in because of the amount of benefits that you offer. And I know so it's like me committing for a year. I don't even think we're going to get through everything that we need to get through in a year because of what I see you and Elliot and the team, comprised of, and how deep you go with the foundation of the company. I'm not looking for a way out. That's why it probably took me a little bit to get in, because I wanted to see how serious you took your business, to see how committed you were, and that meant a whole lot more to me than it was, okay, he's out next. Okay, he's out next. And you didn't do that. You stuck with me. So I would say that, yes, if this is a program that you're even considering, you need to commit for a year, because if you're going to look for a way out, just don't consider it. And that's what I did, because it was a little uncomfortable for me. However, it's working, and we'll talk about that, in a brief minute here. But it's a fantastic program so far, and I really appreciate it. Going into go ahead.
Well, no, I appreciate the kind words, Chris. I mean, that's freaking awesome. And please, if you don't, please continue.
I mean, where you guys went, more or less above and beyond. it's funny because my dad has always had a slogan or a saying that says lower your expectations, because we're dealing with the public here. It's kind of like, what do you really expect? Because I have very high standards for me, how I operate my business. And I know you can relate to this. Nobody's going to work as hard as you. Nobody's going to perform as much or as good as you. And that's how I see me. And it's not like I'm not expecting, people to perform, or I'm not, just kind of like, okay, I know my work ethic, and I've been blown away by your response time. Because I send out messages, or I send out, I try to get on the call when leads come in, and you're already on it. And I was like, doesn't this guy have other clients? Is it I know you do. I know you're flooded because I mean, with the program the way it is, you have to. And I'm like, this guy's on it. Elliot's on it. And when I was during the onboarding, when Elliot was setting us up, it wasn't easy. And I'm pretty technologically inclined, but nothing that's really great is easy. It may be simple just to set up, but it's going to take time to build, to develop. There's going to be frustration, and it's going to take time to build. And Elliot, his patience. We talked about this a little last night on our call. I mean, bless his heart, because I'm technologically inclined to a certain extent, and I can't imagine some of the people that are getting involved that aren't really at my level that Elliot has to work with. And he's so calm and collected. And I'm like, dude, you're fantastic. So
he is a rock, man. It's crazy.
So I mean, I hope that answers the question, or gives you enough, insight onto who these people are, because they're really down to earth, they're friendly, they're kind, and they really want to see you succeed. Because even after I committed for that year, I mean, you are performing at a high level with me, and you're on me. You're continuing to help me grow the system. Teach me new products and services within, and we're growing, pretty well and getting organized with the CRM.
Awesome, Chris. That's great to hear, man. And I guess kind of just going a little tangent from what you just said. I mean, specific tools, resources, services that we provide that, you feel have been the most impactful so far, or how do you view that?
Sure. Yeah. I don't know if you want to call me blind to this or not, but you introduced me to what an ISA is. And I'm like, what the heck's an ISA? Like, I mean, we have, we're in real estate, so acronyms just flow freely through our business. And I'm like, what the heck is this? So it's an inside sales assistant or associate. And what they do is they make phone calls on your leads or your prospects, or the people that your niche, prospects are. And I was like, well, that's fascinating. I'm like, well, do they, have any idea what they're doing? And he's like, yeah, you're going to interview them, or we're going to interview. You said you're going to interview them. We're going to, and then we get to interview them as the, the person, that's going to hire them. And, they're going to make calls, they're going to set appointments, they're going to book your schedule for you. And I'm like, well, that alleviates a lot of things for me. Because I want you to picture this. And as I'm a very visual person, as an agent, or as a broker, as an owner of your business, I want you to think of, understand this is one, we're in sales as a real estate agent, a real estate broker. And two would you rather call a list of people that, are, let me just figure out how to say this. Basically, a blanket list of people that don't know you're going to call, that have no interest, or just kind of out there. However, it is, a specific area and kind of dialed into a certain location and niche of what your business is going to. Or would you have a list of people to call that basically said, I'm interested in your services. I'm willing to talk to a real estate agent and help me. And when I kind of made that transition, because I was like, I can sit down, and I still do. Don't get me wrong, because we still need to be active in this business.
You are most impressive. You told me the other day, what did you do on Sunday? What happened with those leads? I mean, that was pretty crazy, right?
Exactly, and it's you have to be a product of the system, and you can't just throw it all to you guys and say you do it for me. No, it's you do it in conjunction with the team, and then now it's double time. You just bought yourself two people working at the same time, or when you're not working. So yeah, to get on to answer your question, is Sunday I rolled, I opened my phone, and I had eight leads that came in from Facebook, and I'm like, it's Sunday evening, I got a couple minutes. The kids, we're taking a bath shower, doing their thing. I was like, let me just jump on the phone real quick. And I made some calls, and I was just saying, very, very simple. I was like, hey, Susan, you called, there was a Facebook ad that you jumped on. I'm just curious, what were you looking for in a local realtor here in the area? 6 out of the 8 people picked up the phone. And I'm sitting there thinking to myself, I'm like, okay, these are internet leads. And I'm not trying to downplay internet leads, but I was like, these are internet leads. And my experience with internet leads, I was in the insurance business a while back, and it was like 10%. I mean, you get a hold of, because people are just filling out forms for the heck of it. And I mean, the way that you're structuring your ads and the professionals you have behind the scene, putting these together, they know what they're doing. Because these are people that are interested, and they know what I'm talking about. I mean, I had people calling stuff like, "Oh, I just filled out that form because it popped up on my screen." In the insurance business, here it was like, yeah, I filled out the form. I was interested in buying a house. Somewhere down the line, we had someone that was looking to potentially list the property. I got off the phone, and some of them didn't have the time to talk then, which is totally fine. But they picked up the phone, and I was able to find out a time when they did. So just the response rate on the type of lead that we're getting, or the prospect that we're getting to talk to, was mind blowing. And I saw that firsthand, just by picking up the phone and doing that.
And we love that you do that. I mean, the point of the ISA is so you don't have to do that, but the fact that you did and you saw firsthand, 6 out of 8 is pretty dang good. So that's awesome feedback, and thank you for sharing that. I mean, I guess that might be the answer to one of my next questions, but lasting impressions, takeaways, anything you would say working with our firm has, improved or has left a lasting impression on you and the business so far. And it's only been, a couple months at this point, but anything notable?
Yeah, I mean, I think it encompasses everything that we talked about, because I really can't pinpoint one specific thing, because, I'm a very good person at pivoting and going in different directions. And I think you do an excellent job of that too, because when we're in the moment and stuff happens, you were there. So it was like, if I have an issue, you or Elliot were there. So when, we need to make a change with a calendar, we need to make a change with an ISA, we need to make a change, or I need help with just adjusting my, things that are in the CRM. You guys are very responsive, which is one thing that I look for in my business. That's something that we thrive on, is communication. And that's what I'm thoroughly impressed with, with your firm, because that's a big thing for me and for our firm. And it's, when get back to pivoting, it's kind of like, and I was dealing with a personal situation a couple weeks ago, and you were, you went above and beyond, just asking me, do you need to talk? Do you want to have a private call? Do you want to, let's reschedule this because we were supposed to do this, that we needed to redo. And it's not just a business transaction with you. It's a lot more than that. And that's kind of what I really like to pull out of you and your company is, it's a culture that you built. And I thoroughly feel comfortable, working with you, because when I have a question, even now, I don't want to get too personal with stuff that you go through, but you recognize that, and you're not pushy into the business aspect of it. To get to the business aspect of it, you're always advancing us and dripping new things when we're on calls. With the support you have, with the scheduled calls that we have throughout the week, I'm do my best to jump on. Even if the times aren't convenient for me, I know they're convenient for you, and your time's valuable. That's when you need to be there. So I try to jump on there, and you're always dropping nuggets. The people that join those calls are dropping nuggets. I learned a lot from John the other day. He's great, and you just never know when you're going to pick that up. So it's staying tied into the core. And you'll never know what nugget you're going to get, which is going to take you to your next level.
Oh man, that really feels nice to hear you say. And I mean, whenever someone new signs up, we always say welcome to the family, because that is how we look at it, right? I mean, business is business, family's family, people you work with, you choose to, right? But that's really nice to hear, Chris. And I guess, man, I really appreciate everything you've shared on this interview so far. But last and definitely not least, I mean, is there anything that you would say to any real estate professional watching this interview right now that's like noodling about the potential of working with our firm? Any encouragement that you could provide?
Yeah, I mean, it was drips and drabs through the whole conversation we had, for sure. I would encompass everything that we've talked about. If I were to narrow it down to a few items, I would say that if you're even considering something like this, that if it is a consideration, you need to commit for a year, at least a year. And with that, I think you'll be impressed with the results, because I'm seeing results now. We're just a couple months in. When I set my expectation, it was kind of like, okay, let's see how we're, not necessarily how we're doing in a quarter, because I'm committed, for the year. But it's like, I want to see results within a quarter, or I need to, we need to talk and have a serious conversation and adjust a few things. But yeah, I mean, it's kind of like you really have to commit to something that you're serious about. And I would also understand this feature here is, time is limited. And I was using Excel spreadsheets for what I was tracking since inception of what we do. And I love Excel, don't get me wrong. But when we had our conversation, you're like, yeah, I use Excel, kind of like, dude, you gotta get the times. And I'm like, I know.
I was like, bro, it's 2025. Come on, man. Let's do something, right? Like,
I know, but it works. But but it was hard I was losing business because everything's falling through. I'm forgetting, but we built a reputation where people would come to us anyway. So I was privileged. Most people don't have that privilege because they're working under bigger firms and they have, the bigger names on their door. Whereas me, it's just where we're private and people know who we are, so they come to us. If you're, in a bigger firm or bigger franchise, you have to build a niche. You have to build a follow-up program, system that will continuously contact these folks. So that's why we took the initiative to do this, because one, I want to expand my agency. I want to grow business. Two, what's the biggest challenge out there for agents now? And I can guarantee you, I can tell you that it's lead generation, and it's lead, and how expensive it is for people to buy realtor leads, Zillow leads, third-party lead, whatever it is. And the amount of leads that I'm getting in for the amount of money that we're spending, where are we at? We're at $8-9 a lead. Last time we checked.
Well, we're across 3 different ads that we built in. We're running for you. I think the sellers were up around 11. I think the 2 buyer ones one was around like 6 and one was around 8. Yep. Now with the 3 listings that we got turned on, we paused 2 of those other ads. We cut the seller one down to $1 a day. I didn't want to turn that off because, again, sticking power on Facebook is what gives us, more visibility online. So rather than turning off, we put it on $1, and now we're bringing in buyers for those 3 different listings. We'll see what those look like, but yeah, less than $10 a lead. And as you said, 6 out of 8 you can connect with. So that was pretty cool.
Incredible numbers. And my monthly investment for this is it's the cost, I think, of probably what you would sign up for 5 or 6 leads with Realtor.com, because I still had it. I still have the program. I'm getting 5 leads with Realtor.com, and it's the same investment that I'm getting for this and I'm getting 5 in a weekend or a day from you. So it's insane. And I say that to say this, to say that time is limited. So with the program and the efficiency that you've built here, I can't even count, how many people I have working for me when I'm not working. And I work 24/7. So it's like when I'm sleeping, I'll say, when I'm sleeping, you need to have people working on your behalf. So when I wake up and I get my calendar out, I have appointments that are set and I have to show up. So for some of these agents that are, they're not working as hard as they think they should, or they need a schedule. This is how you do it. You have your ISA make your schedule, and then you have to show up. And that's what I'm going to be pitching to my people, is because, so we get comfortable in our day to day and we get distracted. Whereas when you have structure and you have a program or CRM or a system like you and your team, you have to show up and you have to be there for those calls. So that's what I would say, is that this makes your time so much more efficient. You get so much time back because you don't have to be at this business by yourself. You have a team of everyone here.
Don't have to do it alone. I love that. Chris, thanks again for your time, my man. Really appreciate it, and looking forward to meeting and getting the rest of the office involved at the Lunch and Learn tomorrow. But thanks again, man. Keep doing what you're doing. You're kicking butt with us, and we really love having you as a client. So thanks again for the trust.
You got it. No problem.